Welcome to Rare Breed Brotherhood. Sometimes the most powerful things about a man are the ones he does not even realize. There are traits, habits, and small behaviors that women notice immediately, even when a man believes he is going unnoticed. These are subtle, quiet indicators of depth, intelligence, and character. Women pick up on the way a man carries himself, the decisions he makes, and the energy he gives off, often long before he speaks or acts consciously. It is not about showing off or trying to impress. It is in the small, consistent ways he moves through life that reveal who he truly is. For example, they notice how he listens, not just to respond, but to understand. They notice the way he can create space for others without feeling diminished, or the way his eyes catch details most people would overlook. They notice the rare moments when he laughs, and the way it can shift the energy around him. Even his choices, like how he values his time or how he navigates difficult situations, communicate more than words ever could. Women sense patterns in his behavior that reveal strength, clarity, and authenticity. His presence, even in quiet moments, leaves an impression that is subtle yet unforgettable. Today we will explore 12 of these traits, shedding light on the things women notice about men that often go completely unnoticed by the men themselves. These are small but powerful insights into the depth and impact of a man's character. Let's dive in deeper. Brothers. Number 1. The way he makes space for others shows emotional strength more than words ever could. There is a quiet kind of strength in a man who can make space for others without even thinking about it. It is not about grand gestures or speeches about empathy. It is in the small, almost invisible actions that women notice instantly. When he listens without interrupting, lets someone speak their mind, or gives room for another person to shine, it shows a depth of emotional strength that words could never convey. Think about a situation where a group is debating an idea. Most people jump in, trying to dominate the conversation or prove themselves. He, on the other hand, leans back, observes, and allows others to voice their opinions first. Women notice this because it signals patience, confidence, and emotional intelligence. It is the kind of energy that makes people feel safe around him without him having to say a single thing. This behavior is not limited to social settings. Even in one-on-one situations, he knows when to give space emotionally. If someone is upset, he does not rush to fix things or offer cliches. He simply allows the person to express themselves, creating a space where they feel understood and supported. That kind of presence is rare, and it draws people in quietly but powerfully. What women notice is that this space-making is consistent. It is not performative or selective. It is a reflection of a man who has internal balance and confidence in his own being. When someone can offer room for others without shrinking themselves, it speaks volumes about their character. Emotional strength is rarely loud, and yet it leaves an impression that lingers long after the conversation is over. Number 2. His eyes observe, dissect, and understand details most people miss. There is something magnetic about a man whose eyes do more than see. They observe, dissect, and pick up details most people completely overlook. It is in the way he notices the smallest gestures, like the slight hesitation in someone's voice or the way a person shifts when uncomfortable. Women notice this instantly, even if he never comments on it. His attention to detail shows a mind that is present, analytical, and quietly aware. For example, he might remember a story you told months ago and casually bring it up, not to show off memory, but to show he genuinely listened. That kind of awareness is rare, and it leaves a lasting impression because it makes people feel truly seen. Then there is his laughter, rare but genuine. It is not the constant noise of someone trying to be liked. When he laughs, it has weight, and it changes the energy around him. It draws people in without effort because it is authentic. Imagine a quiet gathering where the conversation is mundane. He laughs at something simple, and suddenly the room feels lighter, the tension eases, and people relax. Women notice this because it signals depth and sincerity. His laughter is not a tool to impress, but a reflection of a moment he finds genuinely joyful. Together, these traits, the eyes that notice what others miss, and the laughter that changes the atmosphere, create an aura of intrigue and subtle power. Women sense it immediately, even if the man himself is unaware. It is the combination of deep observation and genuine expression that makes him unforgettable. In a world full of noise, these subtle markers of awareness and authenticity stand out more than anything he could ever say. Number 3. The simplicity of his style communicates clarity and focus without trying. There is a subtle power in a man whose style is simple yet intentional. His clothes do not shout for attention, and his accessories are never overdone. Yet women notice the clarity in the choices he makes, and it speaks volumes about who he is. Simplicity in his style is not about being plain or boring. It is about removing the unnecessary until only what matters remains. Every piece he wears communicates purpose, and it shows that he is a man who knows himself and what he wants to project to the world. For example, he might wear a crisp white shirt, perfectly fitted, paired with dark jeans or tailored pants. There is nothing flashy, yet everything about it is precise and deliberate. Women notice this because it reflects a mind that is focused and organized. The way he dresses is not for approval. It is an extension of his clarity of thought and personal discipline. Every element, from the shoes to the watch he wears, signals a man who pays attention without being obvious. It is in this quiet consistency that his style becomes magnetic. Women sense that he does not waste energy on appearances or trends because he has more important things occupying his mind. There is a calm confidence in seeing a man who does not need to overcomplicate or overstate himself. His style communicates that he is intentional, reliable, and clear about his values. Simplicity in his style is a mirror of clarity in his life. It draws attention without effort because it is authentic. It quietly signals intelligence, focus, and taste. In a world full of noise and distraction, a man who keeps his style clean and meaningful is impossible to ignore. Number 4. His eyes observe, dissect, and understand details most people miss. There is a rare kind of depth in a man whose eyes do more than simply look. They notice things most people would never catch. The way someone fidgets with their hands, a fleeting expression that betrays a hidden thought, or the subtle energy shift in a room. All of it registers without him saying a word. Women pick up on this immediately, even if he is completely unaware of the effect he has. It is not about being nosy or judgmental. It is about having a mind that is present and attuned, able to read between the lines without forcing it. For example, imagine a conversation at a cafe. Most people focus only on what is said. He notices the little pauses, the hesitation before a word is chosen, or the way someone's posture changes when they are nervous. Later, he might reference a detail from that moment, not to show off his memory, but to show that he truly observed and understood. Women sense this kind of attentiveness and often find it quietly magnetic. It is not about talking more, it is about seeing more. This ability extends beyond people. It is visible in how he navigates the world, the angle of sunlight on a building, the rhythm of everyday movement around him, the tiny inconsistencies others overlook. These details create a deeper awareness of his surroundings. What women notice most is the combination of awareness and calm. His eyes take in the world, dissect it, and understand it in a way that feels both effortless and powerful. It signals intelligence, patience, and a mind that is quietly absorbing, analyzing, and connecting the dots. In a world full of noise, This kind of observation stands out, leaving a lasting impression that words alone could never achieve. Number 5. His laughter is rare but genuine, and women notice how it changes the energy around him. There is a rare kind of power in a man whose laughter is genuine. It is not constant or loud for the sake of being noticed. It appears in moments that truly move him, and when it does, it changes everything around him. Women notice this immediately because it is authentic and unpredictable in the best way. His laughter has a way of shifting energy in a room, making tension fade, and making people feel lighter and more at ease. Imagine a quiet dinner with friends. Conversations are flowing, some awkward, some casual. Suddenly he laughs at something simple, almost subtle, and the atmosphere transforms. People start to relax, smiles spread, and the conversation gains warmth. It is not just the sound, it is the feeling behind it. Women recognize that this is not a performative reaction. It is a moment of joy that cannot be forced. That sincerity is magnetic because it signals honesty, depth, and a mind that experiences the world fully. This laughter also carries a sense of selectivity. It is rare because he does not laugh at everything or everyone. When it comes, it is a sign that something has genuinely touched him, whether it is humor, cleverness, or an unexpected moment of insight. Women notice the rarity because it makes the moment memorable. It leaves an impression that lingers long after the sound fades. Genuine laughter is a silent form of communication. It shows warmth without weakening strength, joy without distraction, and presence without neediness. Women sense that energy almost instantly, and it often becomes one of the most unforgettable aspects of who he is. In a world full of forced smiles and superficial energy, laughter that is rare and real stands out, and its effect is quietly powerful. Number 6. He values his time in ways most people cannot even comprehend. Time is one of the most revealing measures of a man's character, and few handle it with the kind of precision that truly stands out. He values his time in ways most people cannot even comprehend, and women notice it without him having to explain. It is visible in the way he moves through his day, the choices he makes, and the moments he refuses to waste on distractions or unnecessary drama. Every decision about how he spends his hours communicates an underlying clarity of purpose. For example, he might leave a social gathering early, not out of rudeness, but because he knows the value of his energy. He invests his time where it matters, whether in personal growth, meaningful connections, or work that challenges him. He does not linger in conversations that drain him, and he does not linger in situations that do not serve him. Women pick up on this instinctively because it communicates self-respect, focus, and a rare sense of control over life. This approach to time is not rigid or cold. It is intentional. It can be seen in how he plans his day, how he shows up for others without overextending, and how he balances work, rest, and relationships with quiet efficiency. Even small gestures, like responding thoughtfully instead of reacting immediately, or arriving on time without fuss, reveal an understanding of the true value of time. Women notice the subtle signals. A man who treats time as precious is someone who treats life with seriousness and respect. He demonstrates patience and discipline without having to declare it. In a world where time is often squandered on distractions, this mindful approach becomes a silent yet powerful magnet, leaving an impression that lingers long after he has moved on. Number 7. His mind moves faster than his mouth, and women sense the depth of his thoughts. There is a rare intensity in a man whose mind moves faster than his mouth. He processes, analyzes, and connects ideas long before a word ever leaves his lips. Women notice this immediately, even if he seems quiet or reserved. It is not about being mysterious or clever for the sake of it. It is about having a mental depth that can sense patterns, understand complexities, and respond with insight that goes beyond the ordinary. For example, in a conversation, he might pause for a moment before replying. Most people mistake silence for hesitation, but women often sense the thoughtfulness behind it. They notice how his answers carry weight and meaning because he has considered every angle before speaking. A simple comment can reveal more understanding of the world or a situation than most people could convey in paragraphs. That pause, that moment of reflection, signals intelligence and emotional awareness at the same time. This ability also shows in how he reacts to situations. When conflict arises or emotions run high, he rarely responds impulsively. Instead, his mind quietly calculates the best approach, anticipating outcomes and understanding motives. Women sense the depth of his thinking even in small gestures, like the way he observes, analyzes, and adjusts without making a scene. What makes it magnetic is the combination of quiet control and intellectual presence. Women notice that his mind is always at work, that he is present in ways that go far beyond words. It is this depth, the ability to think faster than he speaks, that creates intrigue. It draws people in subtly because it signals a man whose inner world is rich, deliberate, and profoundly alive. In a world full of noise, that kind of mental depth is impossible to ignore. Number 8. His self-reliance is not arrogance, but women see it as a rare type of strength. There is a quiet power in a man who stands on his own. He relies on himself not out of pride or the need to prove anything, but because he understands that life requires personal responsibility and inner strength. Women notice this almost immediately. It is not loud or boastful, yet it communicates more than words ever could. There is a kind of magnetism in a man who can navigate challenges alone, who can make decisions and handle his life without constantly leaning on others. For example, imagine a situation where he faces a problem at work or in life. Instead of complaining, asking for handouts, or relying heavily on others, he figures it out quietly. He assesses the situation, takes action, and resolves it. Women notice this because it shows capability and resilience. There is a sense of stability in a man who knows how to take care of himself, and that creates a subtle feeling of trust and admiration. Self-reliance also appears in everyday life. The way he manages his time, finances, and priorities without constant guidance or dependency signals discipline and independence. It is not coldness or detachment. It is the calm confidence that comes from knowing he can handle whatever comes his way. Women sense this strength because it is rare. Most people rely heavily on external support or seek validation, but a man who can stand firmly on his own creates a quiet kind of awe. This type of strength is understated but unforgettable. It communicates security, resilience, and integrity without needing explanation. Women notice it because it is a sign of a man who has mastered himself, who knows his limits, and who can walk through life with steady confidence. It is the kind of rare strength that quietly draws people in and leaves a lasting impression. Number 9. The way he disengages from toxic energy is graceful yet sharp, almost surgical. There is a remarkable kind of strength in a man who knows when and how to step away from toxic energy. It is not about anger or dramatic exits. It is a quiet, deliberate choice that women notice instantly. His ability to disengage communicates clarity and control, showing that he understands what deserves his attention and what does not. There is a balance between grace and precision in how he removes himself from negativity, and that balance is almost hypnotic. For example, imagine a heated argument where emotions run high and logic is lost. Most people either get dragged into the chaos or react impulsively. He, on the other hand, assesses the situation and decides the best course of action. He withdraws without causing unnecessary friction, but without compromising his boundaries. The decision is calculated, precise, and effective. Women notice this because it demonstrates emotional intelligence and an inner strength that few possess. This ability is not limited to obvious conflicts. It shows in everyday life, from subtle gossip to passive-aggressive behavior. He recognizes energy that drains or distracts and removes himself smoothly, keeping his focus intact. It is graceful because it is done without unnecessary confrontation, but it is sharp because it makes the point clear. He will not tolerate unnecessary drama. What women find magnetic is how this behavior communicates both safety and respect. It shows that he can protect his energy while still engaging with the world effectively. There is a quiet power in knowing when to stay and when to leave, and the precision with which he does it signals wisdom and self-respect. In a world full of chaos, a man who can navigate negativity with such clarity becomes unforgettable. Number 10. His selective vulnerability makes the moments he opens up unforgettable. There is a rare kind of magnetism in a man who does not reveal everything about himself all at once. His vulnerability is selective, carefully given to moments and people that truly matter. Women notice this immediately because when he does open up, it is not casual or fleeting. It carries weight and meaning. Every word, every gesture, and every revelation feels deliberate and authentic. It is in these moments that his depth becomes fully visible and the impact lingers long after the conversation ends. For example, imagine a situation where he shares a personal story or admits a fear or regret. It is not oversharing, but a measured glimpse into his inner world. Women sense the courage it takes to show this side of himself, and it creates a connection that is both rare and powerful. There is a feeling that he could have remained guarded, yet he chose to trust in that moment, and it is unforgettable because of the intention behind it. This selective vulnerability also signals emotional intelligence. He knows what to share, when, and with whom. It is not a performance or an attempt to impress. It is a reflection of his understanding of himself and others. Women notice that he does not give himself away easily, and that restraint makes the moments he does open up even more significant. What makes it magnetic is the combination of mystery and authenticity. His measured openness shows confidence, trust, and respect for both his own emotions and the emotions of those around him. In a world full of people who reveal too much too soon, a man who chooses carefully when to show his heart creates an impression that is rare, profound, and impossible to forget. Number 11. He does not explain his ambitions, yet women see the fire behind his calm exterior. For example, imagine him working on a personal project or pursuing a goal with complete dedication. He does not boast about his progress or outcomes. Instead, his commitment is evident in his discipline, his consistency, and the quiet intensity with which he approaches challenges. Women notice these patterns because they reveal someone who has purpose and direction, even without speaking about it. That silent determination is far more compelling than any words could ever be. This unspoken drive also shows in everyday choices. The way he prioritizes his time, the effort he invests in learning, or the care he takes in crafting something meaningful, all signal ambition without verbal explanation. Women sense that he has a vision for his life and that nothing trivial can distract him from it. It communicates focus, resilience, and a confidence in his own path. What makes it captivating is the combination of calmness and intensity. On the surface, he may seem relaxed, but underneath there is a steady, unstoppable energy. Women notice this because it is rare to see someone so self-contained yet so alive with purpose. In a world of constant noise and exaggerated displays, The quiet fire of a man pursuing his goals is impossible to ignore and endlessly intriguing. Number 12. He can be absent physically but present mentally, and women notice how he makes his presence felt. For example, imagine a group conversation where he is not actively participating. Most people might go unnoticed or fade into the background. Yet women often sense his attention, his awareness of the dynamics, and his understanding of what is happening. Later, a comment he makes or a small action he takes reflects that he was fully engaged mentally, even if he seemed quiet. That contrast between physical absence and mental presence creates a unique magnetism that is hard to articulate but impossible to ignore. This behavior also shows in relationships. He remembers details, understands emotions, and acts in ways that demonstrate he was paying attention all along. A woman notices that he recalls something she mentioned weeks ago, or anticipates a need without being prompted. It is in these moments that his presence is truly felt. What makes this quality captivating is the subtle confidence it communicates. He does not need to dominate space to be influential. His mind, his focus, and his awareness make an impression that is lasting and meaningful. Women notice that even when he is not physically around, his energy, insight, and attentiveness leave a mark. It is a rare blend of intellect, intuition, and quiet power that makes him unforgettable. In final words, brothers, true presence is felt, not announced. Women notice things about a man that often go completely unnoticed by him. These are subtle signals, quiet strengths, and small behaviors that reveal depth, intelligence, and character. From the way he listens and makes space for others, to the intensity behind his thoughts and the authenticity in his laughter, there is a layer of influence that requires no explanation. Women pick up on it instinctively, even when he believes he is being ordinary. It is in the details, the way he observes without judgment, the careful choices he makes with his time, and the way he disengages from negativity with precision. It is in his selective vulnerability, the moments when he opens up, and in the fire that burns behind his calm exterior. Even in solitude, he radiates a magnetism that pulls people in, leaving a lasting impression simply through the quiet power of who he is. These traits are not performative or loud. They do not demand attention, but they communicate more than words ever could. Women sense a depth, a strength, and a clarity in these men that is rare and unforgettable. Understanding these subtle behaviors gives insight into why certain men leave such a lasting impact, even when they themselves are unaware of it. The takeaway is simple, yet profound. True strength and allure lie not in what is shown, but in what is quietly lived, observed, and embodied. These 12 traits are reminders that presence, authenticity, and depth create influence in ways most people will never notice, but women always do. Thank you, watching brothers.